Welcome, fellas, to the Flippin' Zippo Sunday with the Punters live stream. And thankfully, I went on early enough for nobody to see that. Oh.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. And we're live.
Hello, Logan Hall. Howdy, howdy.
Hey, Logan Hall. How's it going, my friend? Howdy from Texas. Geezer. Junior. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay today?
Exactly.
Yeah. Weird times, man.
It is.
But, hey, Junior. Get some guys going in here.
How's it going with you?
Yeah, not bad.
Good.
Trying to bake bread, but I think I messed it up pretty bad.
Oh, no.
Still waiting to see what happens to it. Might end up in the garbage.
Oh, that would be a shame.
Yeah, but I have a thing. I have good luck the first time I do most things.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, if it's gonna go wrong, it'll go wrong, man. So, I might have lucked into a good batch the first time I did it.
Yeah, but you know what? You got nothing else to do, so
exactly. Yeah, I put on a proper shirt. Just lounging around in pajamas again all day.
Very dapper.
Thank you.
Me, not so much.
No, it's pretty pointless.
Yeah.
Give it to the birds.
There you go. Yeah, don't throw it away.
Yeah, we
Give it
got
to the
squirrels and birds outside. Yeah. I got no topic today. You know what I was thinking about?
What?
Us group of guys seem to be non-collector collectors. In that, we're not going for numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. I really like that idea myself.
Yeah, quality over quantity
is.
I think it's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Geezer.
Yeah, most of the boys are here.
Yeah, right on. Sounds good.
Yeah, all you guys, if you want to hop on.
Any and all are welcome.
Exactly.
I'll keep spamming the link until
somebody bites.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure Thomas will be along soon enough.
Mm-hmm. I got time's he on here? Oh.
It's 2:00 here, so it's like 7 p.m. where he is. I think him and Geezer are the same same time.
He actually emailed me a list of stuff, so that's awesome. He's awesome for that.
He's the man.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guy in charge of this show. I'm just I'm just the wheelman.
No, it wouldn't be anything without you, pal.
Yeah. So. It's funny. I got the I got this laptop just to try doing that, and then I never use it for anything else. But it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
not a fancy laptop
for sure. Thomas is just about to jump on.
Right on.
Yeah, I got one watch that we can look at a little bit later that caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
From it's a micro brand, but it's cool looking. But we can We can look at that later on.
Sounds good. Or Thomas has thrown a list of Oris together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. Have you ever had any?
No, I've never had an Oris. I've seen them in ADs. I've seen them at Watch Time New York. They're nice. They're nice.
They are. Yeah, it's good to learn about those because it's a good price range and all that.
It is.
They make, they look great.
Yeah. I mean the Aquas, their diver. Can't argue with that watch. That's a solid watch.
Yeah.
And good looking too.
Yeah.
The 65 is nice.
I like those.
Yeah, the Pointer Date is nice. The Big Crown Pro Pilots are nice. I'm sure those are all on Thomas's list.
They sure are.
Oh man, howdy, do it. Do it.
Yeah, let's look that up.
See if they'll take 5. 16570 black dial, solid end links. Nice. Holes or no holes case? Seriously, though, how do you see if they offer like 5? Hey, Ernest.
Hey, Blue Shirt. Hey, Flippin. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Ernest. You all right? Hi, Blue Shirt. Hi, Zippo. You well?
Hey,
good, Thomas. How are you doing?
Holes case. Yeah, howdy. Listen, the worst they could do is say no. Offer them 5 and see what happens.
That is the Polar, I take it, right?
No, it's a black dial.
Black? Okay.
Yeah, 16570. And he says solid end links and what did he put here? And holes case.
Yeah, offer that, and even if they don't accept, they might
call
email
you
back. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly, NS. Exactly. The way things are going, there's no such thing as a ridiculous offer now.
Exactly. Everything's fair right now.
Yep. If it's a nice shape, howdy, I would jump on it because that's a decent deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at that price, you're not afraid that even if the market tanks even more, that you would have overpaid.
I agree.
Because at the height of the madness, those things were starting to be really overpriced, right?
Yeah, I mean the 42 the 216570 that I have, I was seeing them for $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 92, 93. That's that's $1,000 plus over list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, and hey, Orange Hand, how are you?
Hi, Orange Hand. Yeah, speaking of Explorer 2s, Geezer says he's wearing his Explorer 2 16550.
Nice. Very nice, Geezer.
Nice watch, yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
No,
go ahead, Thomas. No, I was just going to answer howdy. That I mean the upgraded clasp on the 216570 is nice, but if you like the older, the 40 mil case size, then that's what what should guide your decision. The upgraded clasp is nice, but how many? What was it? More than a decade with that older clasp. If it's in good condition, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus at that price, right? It's not like you're making some sort of, if you like it, it's not like you're making some sort of investment that it has to be pristine and in amazing condition because you're putting down a lot of money. At that price, that's a watch you buy and you keep forever.
And you wear it, and you use it, and you enjoy it. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's also not a watch. It's not a vintage, right? So it's not a watch that you'd be afraid to send in for service as well.
Right.
Right. If something happens to the clasp, you send it in, get it fixed.
Yeah, Howdy's also right that Geezer's 16550. That's a great reference to have. Yeah, that's definitely a keeper for sure.
Yep.
Hey NATO, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you, Nate. Joining us from Australia.
Nice.
Oh, wow, nice.
Nice, man. Now we're 3 continents. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's cool.
reaching worldwide.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, Zipper, I sent you a list of some Oris watches. I thought we'd visit the budget brand of the week topic again, and we've covered the Hamiltons and some Tissot's, some Longines, and briefly covered a bit of the Zodiacs. So I thought we'd dip into some Orises.
Absolutely.
Good.
I'm on the
good
website here.
Good subject, Thomas.
Yeah. They're one that I've looked into a little bit. You know, I'll see them around in the malls and whatnot, and they're, as far as the malls go, they're the nicest ones in there.
That's what's a bit, I don't want to say weird about Oris, but that's what's kind of surprising, being like a smaller company, but they still are carried in a lot of places. So that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they're not in the outlet malls or anything like that. They're in the nicer places.
Well, they tend to be a mall watch. I mean, you do see them in a lot of the malls.
Hey, Robert, how are you? Thanks for popping in.
So I was looking the one on the right. This 40th Squadron limited edition was a quite nice piece.
Oh yeah, let's look at that. That sounds cool.
Oh, taking its sweet time.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know,
it's quite low to load up this website.
Everybody's online.
Yeah.
So this is the Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot, and this is a Squadron edition, 45mm, and it's quite nice. It's got that 14er look to it, but I just thought it was quite a nice piece. It looked quite nice. I've tried these Big Crown Pro Pilots on. They're quite big, as it says 45mm, but they're very legible. Very, very nice watches, I found.
Yeah, that's a little bit beyond the size that I like. I have to say, it's starting to be a little bit big.
Yeah, PVD plated. I mean, this one retails for £1,700. It's It's a 38-hour power reserve. Sorry, it's got what they call a caliber 752, which is basically Solita 220-1. This one's 500 pieces. I didn't know that Oris were jumping on the limited edition bandwagon, but there you go.
Yeah. No bracelet.
I mean, in this Big Crown Pro Pilot series, there's quite a few watches. They do another interesting one. If you go to the collection, just the Big Crown. If you go to the aviation ones, that's it. There's a Big Crown Pro Pilot Alarm, which I found very interesting.
I don't know why that
the only one that I really don't care for in that line, and it's too bad because it's got their like 10-day movement, is the Big Crown Pro Pilot, the caliber 111 and 114. I find that they've just copied the IWC a bit too much with the layout, with the power reserve on one side and the small seconds on the other. If you look at their other watches, the they're not really rip-offs of other watches, right? They seem to have all their own thing, but that one, the ProPilot Caliber 111, I find is just too similar to an IWC.
Or Oris, what movements do they have?
They're
Maybe
Sellita. Yeah, Sellitas. They used to be ETAs, but now they're running Sellitas.
Yeah. They have their own in-house movement, for the 10-day movement, right? They have that in the new skeletonized one too. That's very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That 1 second from the right, it's just the alarm one, which I found quite interesting.
Oh wow, I didn't even know they made an alarm watch.
Yeah,
interesting. And I agree, Geezer. I think like the Mark 15 or 18 or whatever it is, if you can get it used, I think for some of these prices, I'd probably rather get that. I think Oris shines in their lower priced segment, right? Like the first one you were showing, and the one that everybody talks about, that they had in bronze too.
The Pointer Date or the Big Crown ProPilot.
Yeah, like the Pointer Date and those, right? I think those are nice size, nice price.
Yeah, I agree. And dive watch wise, the Aquis, that's a nice watch too.
Yeah, I think like the skeletonized, the expensive one, the X, I think those are probably more like Halo products, right? They will sell some. I think it's more about bringing people into the brand.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Attracting attention.
It's a good way to do it.
But they'll still sell some. And the other thing too that I'm still not sure, nobody has answered my question so far. I am concerned a lot about the movement that's in the X, the 10-day movement with a single huge barrel.
Right.
I wonder how accurate it is, right? Because it seems like everybody who's ever done that one big barrel, including IWC, you end up with a very wild ride of accuracy throughout those 10 days.
And that, if I remember, reading correctly, I mean that damaged IWC big time. They took a massive hit for that.
Yeah, and they were always. I think even what Richard Habring said about it, right? And I have a lot of respect for Richard Habring and what he's done. But even his explanation was kind of, wishy-washy, right? Them saying we designed the watch where if you keep it on the nightstand for 4 days or 5 days, it's going to average out. It's
right. Yeah, that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
To a man who's literally brilliant. And I think he was just kind of, towing the company line and trying to make the best out of it. But yeah, you're absolutely right, because you get it's wildly inaccurate, at least the ones that they've done in the past.
Yeah, the new one is twin barrels, and it's supposed to function very well. But yeah, that was the thing with the single barrel one. If you basically wear it every day, you end up with a watch that's like 20 seconds fast. And I get, right, that you can buy a watch, any brand, that's going to be like that, right? Even a Rolex, you can buy a Moser, you can buy a JLC that it comes out of the factory and for some reason it's fast. But you send it back, they regulate it, and it works, right? Whereas this one, if you get it set up perfectly, if you wear it every day, that's what you're going to get no matter what. So.
Hey, Turkey Vulture, how are you, pal?
I've tried on this Big Crown ProPilot X. It's a very light watch, a lot lighter than I thought it would be. It's being titanium, but yeah, well overpriced, like you say, NS.
Oh, that's cool. You actually tried it on?
Yeah, I tried it on in Tenerife when I was on holiday. I went to an RSAD there, and it was a really nice watch. Actually, I was surprised, but yeah, just too overpriced. And
hope you guys don't mind me looking Chrono 24. It's kind of a little easier to navigate, actually.
You're at the helm, flipping. You have the con.
So I mean, some of the others were the Oris. Obviously, the Oris Aquis is one they're well known for, which is the their diver.
Oh, probably just gotta say hello to Turkey Vulture. Hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, hi Turkey. Well, mate.
Yeah, hey Turkey. I think Oris makes one that's. I think you were saying blue shirt, right? They also make a diver that's really big, don't they? Like the Pro Diver or something.
What I was talking about that was the Aquis, was their their bread and butter mainstay hardcore diver.
Yeah, this is a 43.5, but I was going to get to the Pro Diver, which is a 49 millimeter. That's a huge one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big old dinner plate.
Yeah, I remember it might not have been you, Blue Shirt, but I remember somebody saying one of those Pro Divers, they tried it and it was really too big.
Yeah, 49 that's huge. But that's the Aquis, and that's a nice blue dial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's the GMT.
This is a 300 meters water resistance and has a caliber. Again, it's a Stellita SW200-1.
Brand new for that price. That's not bad.
No, the one that you have on screen is a GMT.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad.
There's so many variants of them. Oris just do a ton of watches. There's just so many variants of all the different models.
And this guy's right next door to me.
Another one was the Oris Diver 65 Zippo.
Okay, I just have to figure out, how do I follow a specific seller? Just give me. I'll just need
on Chrono 24. You can click on the heart on the link, and it'll save it in your favorites.
Yep.
Okay.
If you have an account on, you have to have an account on Chrono 24.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's
easy. And then what you can do is click on View Current Listings when you have something from a seller, and it'll show you everything that they have. It's gotten a little bit harder than before because they're trying to not show you the name of the seller anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see one more here. Just because this guy's close by.
That's a nice watch, Flippin'. It's a real nice watch.
Hi there, Longshoreman. You all right? Hi, Neo. You well, mate?
Neo, what's up, pal? Hey, Longshoreman. How are you, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm not going to repeat everybody's name. Have 3 people saying the same thing.
Hey, Neo.
Hi, Neo.
Yeah,
hey guys.
What's up, Neo?
Hey. Good.
Yeah, as you guys were looking at that, for fun, I looked in my city on their website, and just on the island of Montreal, there are 5 ADs. And in the metro area, there's like 8 Oris ADs. So.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Trying to figure out
the other one
store. I don't know.
The other one, Zippo, was the Diver 65, the Oris Diver 65. Are you just following this seller?
Yeah, I'll switch the screen over here in a second.
Take your time, man. We got plenty of it.
Yeah, we got a few hours.
Would you get the Diver 65 over an Aquas, let's say?
I like the old school styling of the Diver 65. Yeah, I think I'd go for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like the dial better. I think though the Aquas is a better quality watch, isn't it?
I would agree with that.
Yeah, a bit more sturdy, a bit more rugged, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, plus
Got more depth rating as well.
Yeah, the 65 I think is only 100 meters.
Yeah, that's correct.
And
this
I'm
one's
looking
only
at
100 meters.
The 65, yeah, is only 100 meters.
This one, yeah.
Oh wow.
And I'm looking at the models, unless they have discontinued models. But okay, there's one full stainless, but I don't know. Okay, there's 50 models under it. I thought it was only two-tone, but wow, there's so many models. If you go on the website, the one on the bracelet, I just noticed you click on it and it says under there's 50 models. Just the one with the bracelet.
50 models.
Wow.
Just a ton of them, isn't there? I was navigating the website earlier on and it was just took me ages to get through.
Yeah, there's 50 variations just for the 65.
Wow.
That's nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah. They're
What does
in
this
like
remind you of?
Omega territory.
Well, they are Omega. Oh, not really, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, but it makes sense, right? Because if you go look, there probably really aren't just like, I don't know, 10 actual different models of, the case with the dial and everything, but then they'll have it with different NATOs, different sailcloths. That's what you want when you're a shopping mall watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as many variants as possible.
And they probably also want to target certain demographics, right? So you'll have one jewelry store in a certain shopping mall that'll say, oh, like I'll get some with NATO and some with the leather, some will want bracelet, depending on their clientele.
Yeah.
So the next one, Zippo, was the Oris Carl Brashear chronograph, which I know you're a fan of chronographs.
Well, while you're looking that up, these are called for a quick watch check. I have my Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just wearing the Panerai usual.
Just the little Omega today, as always. It's all I wear now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have some variant of a G-Shock 5600, but don't ask me what model it is.
Yeah, I've got the Moser Pioneer on the bracelet.
Nice.
You're topping us all as always, NS.
Yeah, I'm just wearing it on the bracelet a little bit more before I just take the bracelet off and put it back on the strap for the summer.
Beautiful.
Do you have
Yes, so as you can see, Zippo, this hopped on the bronze watch fad.
Are they still making these?
Yeah, they are.
This
They're on the
says new,
website
yeah.
still.
Yeah, nice. The bronze and blue look good together.
I think
And
they
it's
do.
not,
The blue
yeah, they
style.
haven't mixed in a bunch of the different colors up on the indices and all that. Like, I like that it's got consistency to it.
Yeah.
So that's just under $6,000 Canadian. So
Quite a lot of money, isn't it?
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brand new. I'm on their website. Brand new. They're listed for 6,200 Canadian.
Holy cow!
That's let me do. It's 4,300 US.
Wow.
That's
a lot for that watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, 43
nice.
millimeters. They say it's limited to 2,000 pieces. Sorry, it's got small seconds at 9 o'clock, and then the 30-minute counter at.
Hasn't that watch
3
been
o'clock.
out for like 2 years?
Yeah, it has. Just shows how many they're selling, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. The bronze fad is over, isn't it?
Look, I hate to put down the watch, right, from any brand, but that's too much money for that.
It is, yeah.
You know,
I mean, if you want to take a look at the next one, which is the one that NS brought up, which is the Oris Pro Diver. I looked at the Oris Pro Diver GMT.
I mean, you know, going back to where we started, where Howdy's like thinking about offering 5 for an Explorer 2. You know,
that's insanely low.
Yeah, that's $700 more than one of these watches. Yeah. These are expensive.
This is a big watch. This is like 49 millimeters. You got to have a big wrist to carry this off, or be going diving. I mean, I think this is 1,000 meter water resistance.
Wow.
Yeah, look, I know this was like a couple of years ago, but I can tell you that if you scroll back up and look at the price, that is a lot more than I paid for my Pelagos with like my name on the warranty card. Like, you know, 1,000 more when I paid. This is expensive.
Like these days a Pelagos, even an LHD version, could be had fairly regularly for about $2,800 US on Watch Recon type ads. Like if you're looking even for an LHD, which usually is about $500 more, if you don't see it for $2,800 this week, just wait. You'll see one by the end of the week.
Yep.
This one's another GMT.
Yep.
It's an interesting question for you guys and for people in the audience. So, like, let's say today I went to, you know, any of the forums and I bought a watch. How the heck am I going to get it authenticated?
Yeah.
It's kind of an issue.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I would say that right now you should, with the way things are, I would not buy a watch that needs to be authenticated.
Yeah.
Right. So either buy from a super trusted seller.
Right.
Or buy from, and when I say super trusted, right, like the whole Chris Essery thing in Australia, right? I'm talking about a really, really trusted seller.
Yeah,
right?
one of the big boys, either David SW or Watchbox or European Watch Co.
Yeah, I almost think like David SW is like the bare minimum. I don't even know if I would go there, right? I'm talking like Watchbox or getting something from your AD if your AD selling something used, right? Because you can't do it. So, and even from those sellers, maybe buy something where you're more sure that it's not going to be counterfeit, right? Like maybe I wouldn't buy a Panerai.
Right.
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know.
But yeah, definitely buy the seller and someplace that's brick and mortar. So once everything returns to normal again, you have some recourse.
Yeah.
I've never even looked at this.
I bought off of Dave SW before, and I had his stuff authenticated. There isn't many people I would trust without getting them authenticated, just like NS is saying. Like Watchbox, probably. Roman Sharf, I would trust Roman, but anyone else, I'd get it authenticated.
Yeah, places like Watchbox and Roman Sharf, I think those people, even if like 6 months later you find something wrong with the piece, they'll either say, okay, just send it. Do you want another one? Or like, I'll just give you your money back. I think they do. They're way too public to ever want to have like issues with anybody, right? And the thing is, are some of the smaller, and I'm not talking about David SW now, but are some of the smaller sellers going to take more chances in these tough times, right? Are they going to drop ship like a Rolex that they that they're 90% sure is okay because they want to make money and they can't get back into their store, and they'll accept something from another seller and send to you. That's the other thing too. Right?
Just say welcome to Dear Artifact. Howdy.
Yep. Hey, Dear Artifact.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Dear Artifact.
No, I wouldn't trust Dore Watch either. Like, I wouldn't not buy from Federico, but I would get anything authenticated from pretty much everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The way these guys talk about how they don't hold on to the stock, they just know who has it. Like, you're putting your trust in their trust, and that's all you can do. That's all you're doing with those guys.
Well, and it depends what that means, right? So, like when I bought my Master Control Date, it was one of those power sellers on Rolex forums, right? One of those guys that you can probably trust because they sell tons of watches. And like the way I got my Master Control Date was like he calls his 80 friend, and like they put my name on the warranty card, and they send it to him, and he sends it to me, right? And that's the other thing too. When you're buying a JLC of a certain type, and it's got the display back, and you can see it, those are things that you can't really do a super fake of, right? If you know what you're looking for. And plus, it's a watch where you have the serial number, everything. You get it. You get on GLC's website. You register it. They confirm it. They confirm your names on it and everything. That's one thing. But getting like a sub, right? Where, it's tough.
Is that why they started making open case backs so you can authenticate? Was that part of it?
Not really. I think people just on the higher end watches, people wanted to see the movement. It does make it easier, right? So when Watchfinder, right? They've done a few great videos over the years of super fakes compared to the real thing. They did one with did they do it with a Daytona or a sub? They did it with a Rolex, and then they did it with a one of the newer Seamasters, right, from Omega. And with the Seamaster, it was very easy to spot if you know what you're looking for, because the regulator wasn't exactly right. The escapement wasn't exactly right. This and that. So when you have a display case back, it's easier because you don't have to open it up. You can just look, and as long as it's a watch with a certain level of finishing. If it's a watch with a plain ETA, it's like, how are you going to tell?
Yeah.
Right? So, could we just check out a few more Oruses, by the way, Zipar?
Sure thing.
I was going to say the Orus Atelier.
Then we can even, the Atelier. Let's look at the Oruses that are more like Orus priced.
Yeah, this is more Orus priced. The Orus Atelier Art Blakey was one.
Yeah.
That one in the top left.
Yeah.
What? There you go. Yeah.
That's like more their dress watch line. This one was priced at £1,650 new on the website. So this is more Orus price.
Yeah, $2,650 here. I quite like that.
It's quite nice.
And I don't usually go for a simple white dial.
Yeah, Audi, just to answer Audi, I agree with you. The only thing is that the more finished the movement is, right, and the more complex the movement is, it's easier for a beginner to watch for one thing, right? And I would say it's the same with the dials. Like I think a Daytona dial right, is much easier to spot a fake than, let's say, a sub, because the dial is more complex and it's much harder to get everything on the dial right. So with the Seamaster, I think if you look at the video from Watchfinder, you don't necessarily need to know about, like, okay, is that part of the finishing exactly right? You can just go to one little part of the movement and be able to spot it. So
another one of these Arteliers was the Artelier James Morrison, which was quite nice.
I mean, these are nice because you can. I'm expecting you'll get a discount on those, right?
Yep.
So they come down to a pretty good price for a new watch.
Yeah, I mean, these are classic looking dials. They're quite handsome, I think.
Yeah. James
this
Morrison,
one, the second hand. James Morrison is a trumpet player, Australian trumpet player, jazz trumpet player, and this one, the second hand, has a little it's the bit where you put your rest of your finger on the trumpet.
Oh yeah. That's neat. I love little details like that.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I'd imagine this one looks a lot better in person than it does in a picture.
I'm sure, yeah. Another one was which caught my eye was the Oris Artelier Pointer Day Date.
These are more popular than, like, it is one of the more popular, isn't it?
That one in the top left. The white one.
I wonder where the cost is in this watch, though. Like, why is this a $3,000 watch?
Yeah.
Look, I think it's because it's a high margin product, right? So everybody's making more money on it. I hope you can get a discount because at those prices, it is overpriced.
Yeah.
What movement is this that they have the dates that spread out there with a pointer to it? The days, I mean.
Yeah, it's got the day with the pointer on it. It reminded me of the Patek 52128A. It's not exactly the same, but it's I just like that pointer feature. It's got the date at 6 o'clock, but the day is got a pointer.
It's a Sellita. The base is a Sellita 220-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
hey guys, Turkey sent email to Thomas and Blue Shirt. Hey Carlos.
Sorry, what did he say? Is it Neo?
Turkey Vulture sent an email to you and to Blue Shirt. He's writing in the chat.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Turkey. Thanks, mate.
Hey, Orange Hand.
Hi, Orange.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Orange Hand. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Good.
Yeah, not bad.
I watched the other day's talk where you were talking about like some of the finds that you found, like the Speedmaster Mark II. I was like, holy cow! Like,
yeah,
hey, Carlos.
I was actually Neo. I was actually going to say when Orange Hand came on, like his deals make these watches look really, really overpriced.
Oh yeah,
$300. Sorry for that.
I mean, for this price, Orange Hand is buying like vintage Speedmasters.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a little lucky. Here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have a personal investigator follow you and just tell me where the good deals are.
Good idea, Neil.
You definitely got some good wrangling skills there, Orange Hand.
Yeah, you know, when you were mentioning those deals, I thought, okay, you know, like he's in Ottawa. It's a small town, right? Compared to Montreal. There's no way you can get that here. And then, then you talked about the one you got in Toronto, and I was like, Christ, there's deals out there.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you know, I don't have a strategy in place or anything like that. I just, you know, I think I got lucky in kind of finding stuff, and you know, if you just keep your eyes open, I think it sometimes works out. And you go to unusual places, but by no means am I an expert, so I'm not sure I can give anybody advice on how to replicate that luck.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting in the time and, you know, doing your research, and it's paying off. You know,
Absolutely pays
you're
off,
on
yeah.
online and you know, going to different shops and stuff. That, you know, that takes time. So you're being rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Dear Artifact,
all
I'm
pays off.
afraid we can only get 6 guys on at once.
I could jump
Hey, do
off.
you want me to jump off?
StreamYard.
I could
Jump off as well.
All right, whoever, as long as he's still here. Yeah.
All right,
Guys
Artifact.
can rock, paper, scissors.
Jump on, Artifact.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
stay with us, Pure Artifacts. Yeah. Jump on.
Welcome, Pure Artifact.
How you doing, guys?
Pure Artifact, not Pure Artifact.
How you
Hey,
doing?
how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Tell us about yourself.
33, from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Another Canadian.
Yeah. Way out on the East Coast, pretty far as you can go, pretty much.
Yeah, we were.
And got into the hobby probably 5-6 years ago. And yeah, that's about it, really.
Oh, that's
Great.
awesome, boy! Now we just need somebody from Saskatchewan, and we got almost all the Canadian provinces covered.
Yeah,
On this channel.
Brilliant.
That's going to take time. I think Saskatchewan,
So, dear
Manitoba.
Artifact, when did you get into watches, and what watches have you got? And tell us all about it.
Sure. So I got into watches 5 or 6 years ago. My father wasn't really a watch guy, but I started watching Mad Men around that time, and I really enjoyed Don Draper's Seamaster DeVille. That the design of that watch really struck me, and it kind of got me into thinking maybe I should have a nice watch. So then I started looking at prices of what a vintage DeVille would cost, and as maybe most of us, what happens to most of us when we start getting into the hobby, we're kind of sticker shocked by how much things cost because we just really don't have the knowledge. So instead of going for a DeVille, I started with a Junkers Bauhaus, sort of the same kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then just over the years, I kind of honed my taste and figured out what I like and what I don't like. And currently my collection is Tudor BB58, an Omega Speedmaster, an Omega Speedmaster Professional,
Nice.
with JB Champion bracelet, a Young Hands Max Bill, the hand wind, a vintage Universal Geneve pull router date.
Nice.
A Smith's Everest, because my Grail watch is a 36 millimeter Explorer, so that's kind of just the placeholder until I get that.
Cool.
And then a couple of G-Shocks. I've also got a Hamilton Pilot Pioneer mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
nice,
fun, and
nice.
Constantly just building up the collection and trying to figure out what the next piece is. I think for me, I don't know if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, but I've been really kind of browbeating Tudor into reissuing the Oyster Prince Ranger 79950. I'd love to see a reissue of that. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm really hoping that Tudor diversifies their offering. I think they have a lot in the Black Bay line, and I think that reissuing a faithful Ranger in the right size. 36 millimeters would be nice. Would really strengthen their offering, I think.
Nice collection.
Wow.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice collection.
So what's your favorite watch out of the lot then?
I would say the one that I wear most is the BB58. That just seems to be my daily wear. But I'd say my favorite, it really comes between the Geneve or the Speedmaster. I'm a big kind of Apollo era astronaut fan, so I love watch.
Yeah.
And then the Universal Geneve is sort of just the dress version of the Speedmaster. Like, it's got the twisted lugs, and it's even kind of got the same look on the dial. I mean, it has a crosshair dial on the Rehote, but it kind of gives me that Speedmaster vibe as well. So
yeah, that's a beautiful watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I really love it.
I concur with you. I mean, that's why I have a Speedy Pro, is because I grew up in the Apollo era. So, it's like the ultimate space nerd watch, and it's just iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always this discussion between what's the most iconic watch, the Speedmaster or the Submariner, and I think it's really difficult to decide between the two, but the Speedmaster is just, I mean, from a design perspective, and then also the story attached to it, it's just, you can't beat it.
Agreed.
And you just had the DeVille up there. I saw. It's worth mentioning too. So I did eventually end up owning a DeVille. I think it was probably 3 years after I started getting into it. It took me that much time to decide, okay, I think I'm going to start dabbling in a bit more expensive. Not that the DeVille is overly expensive, but I had gotten over the sticker shock of what this hobby costs. So I opted to invest in a DeVille, but it actually ended up not being what I wanted. It's funny how you think you like something, but then once it's on the wrist, it's a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just want to say hi to Smoke Eater. How's it going, man?
Yeah, hi, Smoke Eater. You well? Welcome.
Hey, Smoke Eater. What about it? Didn't grab you?
So the dial is amazing. It's got the crosshair dial, and I just think the applied logo and the script of Seamaster, it all really struck me. I enjoyed that part of it, but it was that it's all dial and no case that I think is what got to me, and it took me a while to figure that out, but that's why I ended up with the pull router, because the pull router gives you that chunkier case and the smaller dial. I don't know what it is. I just thought it was, and that's why I like the Explorer as well. It's got that bezel that's just a bit more chunky. It's not all dial, and it's weird too, because I like the Max Bill, and that's all dial. So it's really, I don't know what it was, but I felt like I wanted a sector dial with a bit more case.
The pull router has the twisted lugs, very reminiscent of the Speedmaster.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I love those pull routers.
Yes, sometimes with a dress watch, right, or a dressier watch, where the case is very thin, the dial itself and the indices can make a big difference. So if there's texture on the dial, or like the pull router, like a ring that's either a different texture or a different color, that can make a big difference. The indices also, it's a lot of people will struggle with that. It's a big part of the look.
What size are these?
Mine is the compressor case, so I think it's 35.
Okay. Thanks. There's some long lugs on these. What? Not that matters.
Yeah, 35, 36 is still, is still a common size.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the longer lugs makes it makes it wear a little bit bigger.
Yep.
My little 1963 Seamaster 30 is 35.5, and it's got slightly longer lugs, and it fills up my wrist a little bit more.
Nice.
It's some brigades are like that, where you get a 36 that wears like a 39 or a 40.
Very
To your
nice.
artifact, do you have the micro rotor movement in the pull rudder?
Yeah, it's the micro rotor movement.
Nice.
It's the black
Awesome.
dial variant. So I think the white dial variants were from the late 50s, and mine's from the early 60s.
Very nice. Congratulations.
I'm fascinated by micro rotors. I love them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movement. I actually just opened up the case back there about a month ago just to take some photos, and it is quite a gorgeous thing to look at.
Yep, I can see it on your Instagram right now. Those are things that people often overlook. Collectors, when you look at those Universal Genève watches, they actually have movements that are significant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the micro rotor ones. So it definitely is watches that collectors should look out for and try to appreciate.
Absolutely, yeah. Beautiful watches.
How much regulation can you do on your own before, like, how much can you buy or lose generally?
Before you completely mess it up and start crying.
Tear the whole damn thing apart?
I think if you're asking that question, the answer is none.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't bother. Take it to a watchmaker.
Yeah.
It's like those. It's like what Bill Sanders is doing, right? I think it's fun if you buy a movement or buy a really cheap watch or something, but I wouldn't do it on a really nice watch like this.
No. I've got some.
Orange Hand, you're from Nova Scotia as well, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually, but I think I bought my Explorer 2 at the same place you bought your 58.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was on a little weekend vacation with my wife in Halifax.
Okay.
And found it. It was just sitting in the case there.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, good watch hunting in Halifax, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's we have a Rolex AD, and it's funny. I don't feel like there's a huge watch culture in Nova Scotia. There are some collectors, but because we don't have a huge culture, there's there are some pieces ripe for the picking every once in a while.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. If anyone's in Halifax, the place is called Touch of Gold, and it's a tiny little. So it's a Rolex AD. That's it's just a tiny little store. I mean, it's not even a store. You kind of walk in. It's almost like a kiosk. Like it's really small, and they have one little display case with Rolex. But when I was there, they had my Explorer 2 there. They had a white dial OP39. They had a Milgauss. They had a solid gold black dial sub. Like, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I got my 58, it was at a time when it was really, really, really difficult to get it on the bracelet. So I'd be interested just to know like how Rolex and Tudor decide their distribution, because I mean, this, like you said, Orange Hand, like this is not a big store, but they seem to get models that people lust after and can't find all over the world. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what strikes me is I think in larger markets, the stores will hold back their pieces, and they're more likely to just put the stuff in the back of the safe and wait to use it as leverage with a client. Whereas you know, with this place, it's like a mom and pop operation. You can tell, you know, it's small market. They don't get a ton of. I mean, there's a lot of tourism in Halifax, a fair bit, but clearly they don't get, you know, volumes and volumes of foot traffic through the place,
Right.
and they just operate differently. And I'm sure the market's small enough that, like, you know, they've probably sold all the top, you know, all the hot models already to their preferred clients, and now, you know, as they get stuff in, it just goes in the case and they wait for a tourist to buy it.
Yeah, I have to assume that everybody is getting a certain number of those regular watches, right? Depending on the volume you shift. It's not like because you're in Halifax that you're never going to get a sub, or, you know, they must get these watches. But again, I think you're absolutely right. It's they may not have that long waiting list or that long client list. That's the story I always tell people. Is when I went to last time I was in Mexico, we always go to the same like big resort in outside of Cancun and Playa del Carmen in the Playa Car district. And in that district, there's a that part of like the closed off town before you get into the actual Playa del Carmen downtown. There's like a sort of outdoor shopping mall, and there is a Rolex AD in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I was in there, which is like not even 2 years ago, they had an Explorer 2 white dial, Explorer 2 black dial. They had an Explorer 1. They had like 3 or 4 two-tone GMTs. I think there was a steel GMT, a Batman back then. There were tons of two-tone Daytonas. They had a Milgauss.
Wow.
They had everything. But you know, it's a place where they get stuff, they put it in a case. It's all tourists.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have a list, right? You don't go there and say, okay, call me back like in 2 years when you have a Batman. Like, you know, tourists are back in Europe or in the US or Canada, right? They may never go back there. So they get the watches, they put them in the display case and sell them whenever they sell them.
Yeah, no, I had a similar experience. I was in Italy last year around this time, and we were in Rome and in Venice. And in Rome, you look in the window at the Rolex AD. It's just, you know, it's two-tone Datejust. That's it. They don't have anything, you know, no sports, no stainless steel. And then we went to Venice, and in Venice, the AD had both an Explorer 1 and an Explorer 2 Polar just sitting in the window, like, come and get it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable, and I think that is it. It's, you know, you go to tourist centers and or small markets where they don't have local buyers, and, you know, you might just get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot more shops in Venice, though, isn't there? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Venice, and there's a lot of jewelers there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Venice is amazing.
I've heard also a lot of people finding steel sports models at the big Burke store in downtown Montreal.
Yeah.
I think they're also a type of store where if they get something, they just put it in the case, because even though they're huge, very, very upscale jewelry store, there's still a chain, right? Even though that's the original store, there's still a chain. I don't know that they would keep like a waiting list or things like that, right? So
yeah, well, even my my local AD where I got my Explorer 2 from, the last time I was there, which is, I don't know, a week or two before this thing really went crazy, you know, they still had Yachtmaster in there, you know, two-tone Daytona, and they still had this Sea Dweller 43 sitting there that's been there for like almost 2 months. I'm just shocked that nobody's picked it up.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
So you never know.
Turkey Vulture here said, I love the Explorer line, past and present. I think there's a lot of people that would agree with that. I mean, I know I do for sure.
As I do.
Like, and I'm not. I don't hate the 39 millimeter, but I just really feel that the Explorer is at home at 36. Like it looks so good on a wrist at 36 millimeters.
Yeah,
it's a
I think
very good size, the 36. I think.
I really like the Explorer line as well. It's just too bad to me that it's been everybody. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people describe it as the unloved, like entry level. Buy it because nobody likes it, and it's the only Rolex you can afford when you're starting out. I think it's a lot more than that, right? It's
Agreed.
and
Yeah, absolutely. I almost want that mentality to stick around so I can get in on it, and then and then for it to just go crazy, because it should go crazy. I think that it's honestly one of the greatest watch lines that's ever been. It's I mean, if it's not better than the Speedmaster, it's certainly right there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I love mine, and it. Carlos has he has a 214270 Mark II. I have a Mark I. It's my most versatile watch that I have. It does everything well, and the 36 is awesome too. Anyone in particular you're looking at, the 14270 or the 114270? You want to go back further?
Well, I mean, if it in my dreams I'd own a 1016.
Right, as we all would.
Yeah. That's the one everybody wants.
Yeah, so I wrote an article. It was a series actually just before Christmas there on my blog, and it's sort of about my love of the 1016. But there's a caveat to that. I kind of want I want a new. I want like a factory new model. I want it is my Grail watch, so I want it to be my watch. It's the I'm not against owning vintage watches. Obviously, I own a Universal Genève, and I've owned other vintage watches, but I want that watch to be my watch. So I'm really just hoping that, and I think that it's very slim chance that. I mean, I know I can't say I know, but I would say it's a very good bet that they'll never reissue. The Rolex will never reissue sort of a 1016 reintroduction. They may bring back the 36 millimeter size, but that's why I really want Tudor to bring out that 79950 reissue, because I think there is a chance of them doing that, and it's close enough to the Explorer line. I mean, it's basically an Explorer. I mean, back in the day, that's what Tudor was doing. They were just offering models within their own family that were basically identical to, the Rolex model. So I really want that 79950 bad.
So, dear Artifact,
can you imagine how much demand of a reissue of a 1016 would take off if they did reissue that?
Absolutely.
Just go berserk.
This is the thing that drives me. I mean, this is the thing that is great about Rolex, but also that drives me nuts, is that they aren't interested in, or it doesn't seem that they're interested in placating their fan base. They're going forward. They're not
far from it.
Yeah, but that's part of the issue is that their fan base will buy anything. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
They'll buy anything at any price. They'll get in line. We were talking about that yesterday, right? It's the whole point of how. And look, here's the thing: Rolex has many different types of customers, right? You've got the Instagram hype only customers that have no idea what a Daytona is, right? But they just know that that's a watch they need to own because it's flashy and whatever. Then they have the watch enthusiasts. Those are the people we're talking about. And those people will buy anything, right? At any price, in any condition. And then you have their bread and butter customers that are the people buying all those Datejust. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they're not making 1 million watches a year and all of them ending up in a basement being unsold. They're selling them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their whole line is selling. It's selling well. So I think they have very little incentive to do anything like that.
And I think it kind of goes.
Would you consider one of these? Would you consider one of these Rangers, dear artifacts? Would you
Absolutely.
consider a Tudor Ranger? Because
that's
the
the
font
one.
layout is just the numeral layout is very close to the 1016, isn't it? And I really like that hour hand that they do.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I like that you know, spearhead arrow hand, and then it's got the sort of block syringe second hand. So I love the Ranger 79950. That's the one right there on the right there. And it's actually it's funny because the original wasn't 36 millimeters; it was 34. So it's actually a little bit more diminutive on the wrist, which I've got no problem with. I don't have very big wrists, but obviously, I think for it to be successful, I think they should bump it up to 36. But I would, oh my God, I would kill for that for Tudor to come out with a faithful reissue of that watch on the right there. Like the modern Ranger to me, it just misses the mark. Now I'm not saying it's not a great watch. You know, there's a lot of people that have it and they love it, and that's fine. But it's definitely not a reissue of that watch.
Yeah, that
I
Ranger,
really like the modern Ranger.
Yeah, that modern Ranger is a cool piece though, because I think it's the spirit. It's not a Ranger, but it's the spirit of the Ranger, right? A cheap watch.
Yeah.
They made it so that it would be very easy to swap the straps and everything else, but they could have gone the hands right and done a better job of it.
Absolutely. And like my favorite article I've ever written was on this piece, the 79950. And I beat the subject. But basically, you know, I think that Tudor is in a place right now where they've really nailed the Black Bay line, and they need another line to compete with that. Now they obviously have the Pelagos, and that you know, that's a successful line. Certainly not as successful as the Black Bay line, but I think the Ranger is the perfect line if they were to reissue this in a meaningful way to really hit another part that's sort of a gap in their offering right now. It's because just like the Explorer, the Ranger is the do-it-all watch. It's the adventurer's watch, but you can also wear it as a dress watch because it's diminutive on the wrist. It's got a classic design, and right now Tudor doesn't really have much to offer that people are buying when it comes to sort of a dress or field watch genre.
Yeah, it's too bad because they kind of they would have nailed it if they just combined the modern Ranger with the modern North Flag, right? There's a few design elements here and there that they could have swapped between the two of the watches, but it's especially since Tudor doesn't make that many watches, right? It's they're not like Rolex. It's only a couple of 100,000 a year. But I guess all those gaudy, weird, non-sports models must sell, which is weird to me, but I guess they do, like those day dates and...
Do you know which city sells the most Tudor in the entire world?
Go for it.
No, but now I really wonder which city it is.
Brisbane, Australia.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That's odd.
Do you think Archie's got a secret stash in his bunker? Is he a secret Tudor hoarder?
I would say that you have a much better chance of Tudor going back and doing something like this than ever seeing Rolex. Rolex moves so slowly, and
they also don't look back, right?
Right. Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to say. They don't look back.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, that's sort of the reason that Tudor exists in the current state of things, right? I think that Rolex uses Tudor. I mean, their slogan isn't their slogan for no reason. Born to dare. I mean, it's
born to dare. Yeah.
Like they're there as a testing ground, but also to do things that Rolex just wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I agree with Rolex not doing reissues like some of the other brands. I mean, to some degree, I would think it would undermine the brand a little bit, and the whole design philosophy behind Rolex is, perpetual innovation, right? Continuously improving in small steps,
right?
And building and building and building on these core designs. And I think if they were to go back and release a Newman dial Daytona, it just kind of undermines what they are.
Yeah, completely agree.
Fair point. Yeah.
Which is what made last year's run up to Basel, when they kept teasing like old pictures of old Milgaus's, kind of weird.
Yeah,
right.
And those little pictures Tudor was sending out. I could have bet my weekly paycheck that they were going to bring back the Tudor sub.
Well, that's what everyone wanted.
Right. Everybody wanted. Everybody was clamoring. Everybody thought, "Oh wow, look, it's
and on that point, dear artifacts, Turkey Vulture brings up an interesting point. What's your take on the P01?
So, this is actually covered in the article that I wrote about the 79950 as well. But originally, I was kind of quietly stark raving mad like the rest, like most people, that I was kind of confused as to why they would do that, and also the fact, as was mentioned, that they kind of, the way they used it seemed like a Submariner was coming. So like from a marketing perspective, it was a giant failure on their part. But I think now, with a bit of perspective, I don't like the watch. I don't like the P01. I mean, there are uglier watches, but I think what I like about it is the fact that they had the spine to do something kind of where they must have known. They must have known that it was going to be a gamble. That's not a watch design that they were like, yeah, we just nailed that. Everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, I actually have a very different take on it. I think that it wasn't a gamble at all. I think it was an incredibly smart release made for a very, very small piece of the market. That was like an Odinky watch to me, right? It was a watch that would come out and you'd have a very, very specific clientele that would want it and would be clamoring for it, right? It's what Steve Alex said once about Hodinkee, right? Hodinkee was like, that guy was really great, Ben Cliver, at figuring out that there were these people out there that really like a very specific type of vintage watch, vintage look, and vintage Porsche, right? And that's the market. And I think that's, to me, that's like the upscale version of the Hodinkee edition. What's the Seiko Alpinist, right?
Yeah, the blue dial.
That's that market. It's, you come out, you sell it really, really quickly to a very specific segment of the market, and you're just done with it. And what was very strange about it is that it's kind of something that Tudor has never done before.
Yeah, right? I guess to lend credence to your argument too, like the fact that they had released the 58 and the GMT the year before, they were kind of freed up to do something like that. However, regardless of whether it was a good purchase or a good release or not, now the way I look at it is I enjoy that they were willing to do something different, because that makes me feel that they're going to be open to, doing something that might be seen as, a little off the cuff. I mean, it's becoming a little less off the cuff now to reissue, though, because you see Breitling and Omega basically 1-to-1 reissuing watches.
Right.
So,
they do it all the time. And with this P01, I mean, this wasn't even a reissue of a watch that was made. That was just purely that was a demonstration piece,
Yeah.
prototype.
Yeah. So I saw the P01 in the metal in Toronto at a shop, and I was actually impressed with it in hand. Like, I mean, it's a cool watch when you've got it in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The dial feels like, an old vintage sub dial. No surrounds around the hour markers, just printed loom on there, and it's a gorgeous looking piece. It's a curiosity piece. The function of the bezel and that locking mechanism is really neat. Playing around with that, but at the same time, I wouldn't spend my own money on it. Like, it was fun to play with, fun to look at. It was a good looking watch. It actually wore quite well. I liked, I put it on and it fit nicely. You'd think it would be weird with those articulated lugs. It wouldn't fit well. Fit really, really well, and it looked kind of cool. Still though, it seems there's too much wrong with it. It's too quirky. That leather, the leather band is a weird addition to it. It should have been rubber, I think.
Yeah.
But
I
you
think
what's
you might
the
be right there. The leather band is a bit strange with it. I think you could be right with it saying it should have been rubber, because I'm intrigued by the piece, to be honest with you. I've seen one in my AD, and I can't wait to go and try it on, to be honest with you. But I think you may be right. It aesthetically looks really nice, like a sort of fashion watch with the leather on. It looks really sort of trendy, but I think as a tool watch, it would be much better with the rubber strap on.
I'm interested to know, did you guys kind of like it right away, or did you kind of come around to it?
I've just come around to it. I've sort of warmed to it. It was, like you say, it was a bit of a sort of strange blow to start off with. I was sort of like, what's this? But I've sort of really warmed to it and been intrigued by it, because I never actually got to see it in the metal until about a week ago. Well, 2 weeks ago, it appeared in one of my AD's windows, and I couldn't stop staring at it, to be honest with you. I was so intrigued. I didn't actually go into the shop because all the stuff was kicking off, and I didn't want to go into the shop and sort of say, can I start trying on your watches with all the coronavirus stuff kicking off? But I was just I couldn't stop staring at it through the window. I can't wait to try it on, to be honest with you.
I didn't much like it, and my reaction to it was, it's just not a watch for me, right? It's just not aimed at me. But one of the Blue Shirt, you were mentioning that it wasn't even like a real model, right? It was a prototype. And I think that's part also of the genius of this watch, because they get to make more and more as they sell more, and they never have to compete with the vintage market. So like the Odinky, remember what's the Speedmaster that's very colorful, that's a little bit smaller, that they reissued? Is it Mark 42 or 4.5 or something? But when they released that with Odinky, right, that was part of the problem. It sold out, but they couldn't manufacture like 1 million and keep making them, because they sold out. But after that, people started realizing, oh, I can get a vintage one for $4,000, right? And with this watch, they never have to compete with the vintage market, because it's like a vintage reissue of a vintage watch that never actually existed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ironic, isn't it?
Well, they're cool watches. I like the bezel too. I think the other the other watch that would be cool, I don't know what your take on that would be, your artifact, but a cool watch to see also would be a reissue of an Explorer 2 type watch with like the original kind of Explorer 2 bezel.
Yeah, the 1655.
Yeah, but maybe not like exactly like an old Explorer 2, right? Make it Tudorish, but
yeah, ID guy actually did a kind of a mock-up of that recently, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of the 1655 as well. So I would love to see that. I mean, frankly, if Tudor reissued the 79950 Ranger and then also made sort of a Tudor version of the 1655, then I would definitely be a purchaser of both.
Yeah, if they did anything.
My favorite thing about the 1655 is just the straight hands without the Mercedes hour hand. I just love it.
Yeah.
I would have to seriously consider if they did some kind of homage to the 1655. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know your artifact if you're on Canadian Watch Collector on that forum, but I think it's a year and a half ago or 2 years ago maybe, a seller had a completely mint 1655 with box, paper, hand tag, everything.
Oh wow!
Service history, everything, and I think they sold it for maybe between 30 and 35 Canadian, 35,000. But it was pristine. It was a perfect 1655. Never, probably serviced, but hands never changed, and the bezel was still perfect. It's just amazing. That was a beautiful watch.
The 1655 is kind of a mystery to me. I've always tried to figure out why I like it, because I tend to like kind of more not plain, but not as design heavy dials. But that's about as design heavy as it gets when it comes to Rolex. I mean, it's sort of off brand for Rolex now when you're looking at the vintage model. So, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's busy, but I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a cool watch.
Well, I feel like it's one of the few watches that the dial is busy, but it looks like a tool watch, right? It looks like what a lot of Rolexes pretend to be, but actually aren't, right? Like the whole thing about, the 24-hour bezel is for, that line you always hear. It's for cave explorers, right? They need to know like what time it is and stuff. Like, okay, but you're in a cave, like what does that bezel do when you're looking at the lume, right? So like those extra lume indices for the 24-hour dial, and that makes sense on that watch.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just stunning.
Yeah. And this is what I like about the 42 millimeter Explorer 2. It's that hand. I think that to me is Explorer 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to
that's what got me.
I was able to complete the entire handset by buying the Mark II, right? So I've got the orange hand on the modern Explorer with the 216570 and on black dial. And then if you look at the avatar, my avatar for the Mark II, the hour and minute hand is very reminiscent to the 1655.
Yeah, you're right, Turkey Vulture. It's very underrated, and I think it's a part of the 42 millimeter being underrated is that people were told for years, right? Like the 40 millimeter is where the value is. And don't get me wrong, I think they're great value. They're great watches, but I don't think the 42 millimeter is a bad watch because it's a little bit more expensive and bigger.
Hey, dear Artifact, just a tip. There's a brilliant article, probably the best article I've read on the Explorer line that was just published on Monochrome. I don't know if you're familiar with that website, but Monochrome website, and it's in their vintage corner. It was their weekly column on vintage, and they did a full Explorer line, just Explorer 1 piece, recommending the 5-digit Explorer. I can't remember what is it, 1114 or
14270. Yep, yeah, I read that. It's a great article.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Yeah, you should check it out. You'd really like it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So are we all the people that always complain that every stream from other YouTubers is always just about Rolex, and we started talking about Oris, and now we're just talking about Rolex? Is that really us?
Go back to Oris if you want.
No, I'm okay. It just dawned on me, right, that we're the biggest culprits of what we complain about.
I don't complain about that. I talk about Rolex all day.
Yeah.
Gents, I got to sign off here. Sorry to head out so quickly, but it was really nice talking to you, and I'll certainly be around for another show as well.
Great. Thanks for coming along.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Hear your stories.
Yeah, same here.
Hope to see
Cheers.
you again.
Take care. Yikes.
You too.
So if anybody else wants to hop on, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a free place. Anyone wants to jump on the stream, do so. So shall I take you back to a couple of Orises, Zippo?
Sure thing. Let's see here. Yeah, I got rid of them all.
I don't know what you have on your list, Thomas, but given the kinds of watches that you like and we've talked about, I hope it includes the Chronoris, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next. Yep. The Chronoris Williams 40th anniversary. The Chronoris Williams 40th anniversary.
It's a shame that the modern Chronoris isn't in fact a chronograph, right? Like the original vintage version had a chronograph feature. I think it was more like the Chronostop from Omega, where there were no registers. It was just the chronograph hand. Mm-hmm. And then when they reissued it, the most recent iteration of the reissue is just a swiveling bezel. It has a second crown with an internal bezel, almost like a dive watch.
Mm-hmm. They actually have the chronograph. It's the limited edition.
Yeah, this one's a chronograph. This Williams one. If you just hit that one with the bracelet, the picture with the bracelet, Zippo, that you just had further up.
Mm.
Yeah,
but having said that,
it's a chronograph. Yeah. It's a Williams. They've got a tie with Williams, who've done some sort of sponsorship with Oris, and this one's a 40th anniversary Williams racing team.
Yeah. Having said that, I'm looking at the price. It's a $4,600 watch.
This is twice the price that you'd want to pay.
Mm.
It's £3,000. This one.
Yeah,
this one, as opposed to Solita, this one's actually got an ETA movement in the 7750 ETA movement. But this
see you later, Howdy.
I love.
Yep. See you later, Howdy.
Yeah, take care.
Take it easy, Howdy.
Mm.
This is that 70s style that I love.
Oh.
It definitely is a nice cushion style case, and Yankees are. I think I don't think Williams has done anything since Williams hasn't done anything since that Damon Hill year and the year with Jacques Villeneuve, right? After that, they've been pretty much garbage.
Smoke Eater, I will do that.
This watch, Thomas, this is an older watch, though, right? It would have been released a few years ago, or is this a current model?
I think this is a current model. It harks back to. I think it harks back to one of their styles that they used to do. The Chronoris is an old model, but I think this chronograph is this current model is a new model.
Yeah, there's actually two. The one with the bracelet, the Williams 40th anniversary, and they have also the normal chrono one that's a limited edition. But you might be right, Orange Hand, that it's actually an old model, but it's still on their website as a current production. So it might be that it's just a one that they haven't sold out yet, limited editions that are still,
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I saw one version of the new, like the reissue, and as I was saying, it was on a leather strap. And it didn't actually operate like a chronograph. It just had a swiveling internal bezel. But yeah, nice to see that they actually did a chronograph version.
Welcome Turkey Vulture.
Hey Turkey, how are you, pal?
Yeah, and another one was the Oris Arctics GT date.
And Orange Hand, I just Googled it, and at least I don't know about the normal limited edition, but the Williams one there's an article about it from January 2018. So my guess is that it's a 2 to 3 year old watch that still hasn't sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's a product. Shoot.
Yeah, so this has a date which seems to rotate round this date. So it tells the date, and then it has a day which rotates round as opposed to a pointer pointing to it.
Oh, really?
This one's local too. I quite like that.
And this one's half the price of the last one we've looked at. This one goes down to £1,400. So it's again, this is more your shopping mall sort of watch.
Yeah.
This it's the Omega dealer around here.
Yeah, I just looked it up in the Calgary area. There's 3 dealers.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice looking.
Nice little. I like this.
I found it a bit of a strange complication, really. The rotating day.
Nice and symmetrical, so it's right up my alley.
Is anybody else kind of weirded out by the bezel?
A little bit, but not in a bad way, really. It's what you'd have to see it in person.
Yeah.
I definitely would want to.
How big is it?
I thought this one 42 millimeters, 100 meter water resistant, 38 hours power reserve, and again it's on the Solita SW200-1.
So the bezel looks like it's high polished.
Yeah, quite highly polished.
That's going to
The last
scratch,
two I
though,
was
isn't
going
it?
to check out was the one was the Oris Big Crown Royal Flying Doctor Service, which was an interesting one.
There's probably a way to flip screens faster than I do it, but let's get a better look.
I like that bezel.
So this is a big quarter Arabics.
Looks a little like a JLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Polaris, doesn't it? Or like a sort of Panerai layout.
Yeah.
Flying Doctor. What does that mean?
Not too sure, to be honest. It's quite a big watch. It's a 45mm one.
My guess is that they don't know what that means either.
I think it's some sort of hookup with some military unit, maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. 1 second here. I'll be right back again.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it's the Flying Doctor service. And it's got a pulsation dial.
Mm-hmm.
Which
That
is,
yeah.
It's a weird thing to have a pulsation dial on a non-chrono, right? Because
Yeah.
Especially this is like supposedly like a military watch, so it's like, okay, let's wait a minute before I can take your pulse.
Well, or you might as well just start counting and count for a minute.
Yeah,
right?
because you're in like a high risk situation, and you're gonna wait for the the seconds hand to go back to zero before you start counting. It's
There is one with 2 crowns though, right? It looks like there was. Yeah, there you go. There's one there with 2 crowns. So
is that for
does that help you out with the pulsation dial?
No, I think that's just like a Polaris. It's a
in a rotating bezel.
Yeah, but it's not the pulsometer that rotates. I think it's the top of it, because you see that one. It would actually make sense what you're saying, Orange Hand, if that one had been done like the normal one, where you could just flip the pulsometer to wherever you want, but it's just the countdown bezel that turns.
So a doctor's watch without a pulsometer.
The last one I was going to get you to check out, Zipper, was the Big Crown 1917. I just thought this had a really nice classic dial. The numerals were really nice, I thought.
Yeah, that one's nice.
Yeah.
That is. It's very classy.
Obviously harking back to First World War sort of watch.
Yeah.
That is nice.
You ever hear what Rich Buddy says about cathedral hands?
What?
Says that the hour hand looks like a male appendage.
Fecal.
Well, I think that's true for the ones that don't have the separations, right? Which brand makes one without the separations? Is that IWC?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, that's IWC makes one. I think it's IWC where it's also like wider, so it really does look like that. The IWC one looks like truck nuts, right? Basically. But that one looks fine. It's okay.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the diameter on that?
That's a 40 millimeter.
Oh, that's great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody has suits on in the pictures, and that's
because every watch is a dress watch. Every watch is a dress watch, and if you try hard enough and you have enough money, every watch is a sports watch.
Right.
And if you're really, 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 really rich, every watch is a dive watch.
Well, it depends what you're going for. Unless you're going for Satina or something like that, or Invicta.
So this, ooh, look at that.
I actually like it on the bun.
Strap for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it with the normal strap too. Yeah. Actually, if you look at the picture, it comes with both in a nice little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in a nice little leather packet.
What does this sell for?
Yeah, that's the downside. 3,200 Canadian. So
£1,900. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
1430 used, 1375.
I mean, you might do better just getting well, yeah, you get one used. You definitely wouldn't want to buy one new or without a discount.
Yeah.
No.
Oris is, I think, one of those brands I'd only go used on.
Yeah.
And mind you, there's not many that I would insist on going brand new. So I have no problem buying used.
Can't you get there has to be a similar Longines vintage reissue, right? That might be similarly priced or even better priced.
Yeah, we did to Longines, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at the Avigation Big Eye from Longines over and over and over again, and you can get them on Joma Shop for I think $1,700 US, which is a killer deal for a column wheel chronograph, and you know that has a very Type 20 kind of look to it. It's kind of like a budget Type 20. It's a great deal.
There was the Longines Heritage Military 1938 that we looked at before, wasn't there? The Longines Heritage Military line is basically their line of classic styled watches from the past.
Yeah, the 1938 is nice. The 1945. Oh, and now I remember blue shirt. It's the skin diver that you said was too large.
Yeah, I had I had the Legend Diver, but there's and the skin diver is just another version, a little bit more refined version of it. I mean, I love the watch. It's just the lugs are just a little too long, 52 millimeters. That's a long wingspan.
Yeah, I see the Legend Diver now. Even in the pictures, you see that they're like really long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a great little watch. I enjoyed it.
I know. Look, I think what we've seen so far today is Oris. You've got a lot of nice watches, but the price on some of them is a bit bit up.
I really like this 1917. I really like it.
That's a sharp watch.
Yeah.
Well, it's not bad. It's on Amazon, $1,700. That's not terrible.
Yeah, not bad. I wonder if you go to it almost, I'm looking at this 1917, and you know what I want to do? Once all of this blows over and stores are open again, I really like the look of it. I kind of want to go to a store and say, like, what's your bottom?
Right. What can you do? How good you get? Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of digging this watch.
It really has that old style military watch, and who makes watches very much like this? It's RGM. Except that with RGM, right, you're talking about, I guess, like a $10,000-$15,000 watch.
Right. Yeah, it looks like some of the Zenith pilots also.
What would everybody consider Oris's most popular?
Would have to be the Aquis.
The Aquis, yeah.
Or the 65.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess also recently the Big Crown Pointer Date, right? I think they're making a big push for that too.
They put that out there as their icon, right? Like that's their Submariner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Oris one is weird because you can clearly see how they do marketing campaigns, right? Where all of a sudden 1 month every single YouTuber is talking about the Big Crown Pointer Date, and then it leads to every single YouTuber who's not getting paid for it talking about it too.
Just popped on eBay, and that At 1917, there's a one here. It says new with tags for 1379.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, and that's not bad at all.
Bargains to be had.
Yeah, you know what? That watch, the 1917, they did the case right. It really looks like the early, not pocket watch conversions, because the first ones were, sort of like factory made with the soldered lugs. But they did the case right, and they did the lugs right too.
Yep.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd love to see one in the flesh.
Yeah. I mean, that might actually be the favorite Oris that we looked at today.
I think so.
I love the coin edge bezel on these.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
And what does the 1917 have? Is it like okay, it's Solita again.
Yeah, 1917 to Solita SW 200-1. They call it the caliber Oris 733. But,
right, because they slapped their red rotor on it.
38 hours power reserve.
I wonder what the accuracy on that one is, though. Didn't somebody before say something like plus or minus 20 seconds or something? Yeah. Plus, it doesn't have a running seconds. Probably so that you never figure out how accurate or inaccurate it is. Like, close enough.
Right.
Yeah. And what's that button on it? Is that like a zero reset?
So which one are you looking at? The
1917. It's got like an extra
bring
pusher.
up the 1917 again, Zippo.
Yeah.
You bring that up again, Zippo, the Big Crown 1917.
Yeah. Oh shit! Sorry. Sorry, which one are we looking for?
The 1917.
Big Crown 1917.
Yeah, that's my only issue with it, is not having a seconds hand. That
Yeah, I'm reading an article on it right now, and I need to figure out what that pusher's for.
Oh, 2 o'clock. It's got a little button, hasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
No, I didn't.
No, that's very well hidden.
Maybe it releases the maybe it releases the crown. So instead of in a
it's to set the time.
Set the time.
Yeah.
As opposed to winding the watch.
How does that work? So you just wind it with the crown, and then what? You push the.
And then you push that in, and then you can set the time.
Okay, instead of pulling it out.
Safety mechanism, right?
I don't know. That's weird for a watch that doesn't have a seconds hand, right? Like the Moritz Grossman watches have that, so that you don't, like you pull the crown and then you press on the button, so that you're not, like a lot of hacking seconds movements. The problem is when you like push it back. Sometimes pushing back the crown moves the seconds or the minutes a little bit.
Right.
So it's not like perfect. Having that for a watch without a seconds hand,
I'm gonna bring one up and ask you guys about it, because it's got more pushers on it and all that I understand. Maybe somebody knows how they work.
Okay.
1 second. And I know they're not all, super functional. And then there's this one.
Wow.
Yeah, these here. There are so many things that turn and move and all kinds of wacky stuff going on with these.
So this looks like it's got 3 crowns and 2 pushers.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hamilton X1. Okay.
So is that a slide rule on the inside there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's looks like. Is that like automatic or is that a quartz?
I think this one is automatic.
Yeah. Because it looks like it's 7750 reversed.
Yeah, reversed. Yeah.
Now there is the one that I'd like to actually know about is this one here. And it is quartz. But I had never figured out how to use this thing.
And Geezer, yes, the 5522 is a nice watch. Just a little bit more expensive.
Agreed, but it is a gorgeous watch.
That's the one because it doesn't have all the extra stupid crowns.
Yeah, I just don't know how this thing works.
Well, my guess is that you have you have a crown for like the slide ruler type of thing, and then you have just a standard chronograph pushers. I don't know what the other crown might also be for, like if another rotating bezel or something.
Yeah, way inside here, like up at the top of the 12. I forget what it goes to, but I don't think it's just 60, like 120 or something. It's got a split second hand to it. It's, I don't know, kind of preposterous, really. But I gave one of these to my brother without knowing how to use it, and I'm sure he doesn't know how to use it either.
It's like the dark secret that you both share and you don't talk about.
Exactly.
Always the best presents, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're always the best presents, the ones you have to work out how to use.
Yeah.
Carlos is saying here that I'm realizing that 2 of the 3 watches that I have on my short list for next year do not have seconds hand. 2 Breguet Classiques and a Royal Oak white gold salmon dial, but it can evolve a lot in 1 year. You got time on your hands, Carlos.
But you see, like on those watches that are more dressy pieces, I get not having a running second.
Right.
That's perfectly fine. But on like a military style watch,
right? The whole point is having a seconds hand.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Well, guys, should we call it at 2 hours?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So beautiful.
Yep. So thanks everyone that joined and everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
And,
thanks to Orange Hand and Dear Artifacts for joining us today. It's been great. And
it was wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Stay safe, everyone.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Right.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Chat for joining us.
Yeah. Bye.
Take care, everyone. See you next time.